And this is Ken Kreitzer at the Navy League in New York City. We had a wonderful presentation today about the importance of aircraft carriers to our nation's defense and to our defense needs around the world. We had a chance to talk with Bryan McGrath, who is a former commander of the USS Bulkley, which was commissioned in New York City about 15 years ago. And great presentation today. You outlined to the audience in the Navy League the importance of maintaining the fleet of big deck aircraft carriers for the U.S. Navy.
Yes, I think there are a lot of critics of aircraft carriers who would have us believe that they've become obsolete. And I, today, before a crowd of about 40 or 50 here, helped to try and turn the tide on that argument, to explain how the aircraft carrier remains a valuable part of our defense arsenal and will so for the future to come.
And we talked a little bit about the way the amphibious assault ships in some ways supplement the carriers, but they really do not replace a big deck carrier. What's the difference, again, between the amphibious assault ships like the Wasp or the New America versus the Ford class coming online?
The amphibious assault ships are a vital part of a combat system that is designed to do one thing, and that is to project Marines ashore and to support them there. The aircraft carrier is a combat system that is optimized to deliver air power ashore and to control the seas. They have very, very different jobs, and because of the way that the platforms are constructed, they accommodate very different airplanes. Yes, of course, the LHD and LHA will be able to employ the F-35, and the aircraft carrier will employ the F-35. But there are airplanes such as the E-2D Hawkeye that provides surveillance and command and control over tens of thousands of miles that simply cannot be accommodated on an LHD or an LHA. Electronic attack aircraft are another weakness of the LHD. And you also have to remember that every foot of real estate taken up on that amphibious assault ship that is not devoted to projecting and protecting Marines ashore is something that's taking away from its primary mission.
And you mentioned also the two combat hubs that the U.S. military, especially the Navy, are working from in the Arabian Gulf and the Western Pacific. Why are those two spots so important? And also there are other spots around the world the Navy would like to have more presence.
Well, the Western Pacific is an area of intense economic activity, huge populations. The sort of center of the world has shifted to closer to the Far East, out of Europe and closer to the Far East. And so America has treaty interests there with 5 nations. We have forward deployed forces. And so there will always be an intense interest in the Western Pacific. The Arabian Gulf, Indian Ocean region is important because we have close friends and allies in the region. And of course, because the world still runs on oil, and oil comes, if not as much for us, but the world oil market is fungible, and if oil is bottled up, or you can't get oil out of the Arabian Gulf, that's oil that China won't be able to get, or Japan won't be able to get, or Australia won't be able to get, and that has an effect on prices that Americans pay for gasoline, for anything that is manufactured from crude oil. It really is a sign of the interconnectedness of this global system, and our Navy is out there specifically to make sure that global system operates efficiently.
And if you would just tell us a little bit about the highlights of your career. I know you commanded the USS Bulkley. What are some of the other highlights of your career in the United States Navy?
Every day was a highlight. I mean that. I loved putting the uniform on. I had all of my short tour was in Washington, so I've sort of got a master's degree in flummery and buffoonery from 4 tours in Washington, but every day was a great day. And taking command of a destroyer was the height of that career, but going to work in the Pentagon, people working hard on very hard problems, every day I enjoyed that work.
Bryan McGrath, thank you for your service for our country from all of us at the American Legion. Good to see you today.
Thank you very much.
It's Ken Kreitzer at the Navy League in New York City.